Hi guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and welcome to my January 2019 wrap-up, where I wrap up all things that happened to me in January 2019. Now, before I get started, I would like to say that I have made a different format for my wrap-ups, so I'm just going to quickly explain what I'm going to be going through in these wrap-ups from now on. And then I will get down to business and tell you guys all about my January. So first, I have the category audiobooks that I listened to. This is where I take you guys through the audiobooks that I listened to, because I feel like I'm cheating a little bit by saying that I read these books, I listened to these books. There's a difference, but I also feel like a lot of people shouldn't down people who read audiobooks, because there's blind people, there's people that don't have time because they have busy work schedules, and audiobooks are such a great format to get all the stories out there, and it's just a different way of reading them or getting the story in your brain. Like, I've listened to like 4 audiobooks this month. And I wouldn't be able to read all those because I didn't have time this month. I was busy with work.
Yes, Shady, I hear you.
And, yeah. So the second part is books that I read this month. This is where I'm gonna physically be reading books. I'm gonna try to be better at it. No promises, but we will see. The next category is TV shows I binged this month. As some of you may know, I binge TV shows. Most importantly on Netflix. I'll wait until a TV show is on Netflix to watch it, or Hulu to watch it, so I could be more invested, because I hate the week-to-week grind of waiting for an episode. So I just wait until they're on Netflix. Like, I love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but I'm not as caught up with it as I would like to be right now, because they're doing a few things that I don't personally agree with for the show. Not on the fault of the writers. I can see why they're going this direction, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, man, I'm kind of tired of watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend at the moment, so I put it down. I might continue it this week if I get bored enough, but I can wait for it to be on Netflix and watch the final season on Netflix also. And then, we got movies I devoured, which, I didn't want to say, binged or watched. So I made this part up. And I had a very good amount of movies that I watched this month, mostly because of the PSN and Netflix. And I think I watched one on Hulu. That wasn't that great, but we'll get to that. My next category is music that moved me. These are the musical artists or songs that they did this month that I just couldn't stop listening to because they made me feel all the feels. Next, I have experiences that changed me. This is where I will go through all the experiences that I went through for this month. I didn't have a lot, so that category will be short this month. Next is influencers that I cherish. This could either be actors, or singers, or even YouTubers. These are the influencers that helped make my month, because I watch a lot of YouTube. I get on Instagram a lot, Snapchat, Facebook, so a lot of people influenced me this month, so I thought it would be a cool section to shout out the people that made my month. And then last but not least is goals that I accomplished this month. Since I really didn't want to film my 2018 goals I accomplished video, even though I got like 20 out of 70 of my goals accomplished, I was just like meh about the subject. I really didn't feel like doing it. So I decided that on my wrap-ups, I'm just gonna post the goals that I accomplished for that month, and then I'll do a big roundup of all the goals that I accomplished in December of 2019. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, before I get into the audiobooks that I listen to, of course, I'm gonna make a shout out to Audible. Audible, this is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I just love Audible so much. Right now I am trying to read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson because I loved the TV show so much. I mean, the ending could have been better, but I still loved it. Loved it, but Audible is like a great subscription. I pay like $15 a month for it, which I know some people might think is like so excessive for audiobooks, but I really do enjoy Audible. I think it's a good subscription service, and I really think you guys should check it out. But without further ado, let's get started on the audiobooks that I read this month. The first one being You by Carolyn Kepnes. I had just come off from watching the TV show. Spoiler alert for the TV shows I've been this month. But I had just come off of the TV show. I was on such a high with the TV show because I tried reading the book, and it didn't really jazz well with me as far as the first chapter, and then I was just like, well, obviously this book gets a lot more interesting as it goes along because the TV show got a lot more interesting as it went along. So I decided to give the book a chance, but I gave it a chance through audiobook, and I'm glad that I did because this is actually quite a funny coincidence. I thought it was hilarious. But the guy who narrates You is actually Santino Fantoya. I think his name is. And if you guys on my channel don't know about my Crazy Ex-Girlfriend reviews, you know that Santino Fantoya is the original Greg on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. They have recasted him as of this moment. They brought a new actor in. I don't know if I like him as much as I like Santino. I only saw one episode of him in it so far, so I can't really judge him for that. But I just thought it was so hilarious that he plays Joe in this audiobook, and I felt like his voice was very fitting for the role of Joe. I do like Penn Bradley as Joe, but I do love Santino Fantoya as Joe too. And it's really weird because these two actually kind of look similar. I'm not saying that they look similar and wow, they could be twins, but they have like some similar features to them, and I thought it was hilarious. I also found it hilarious that on the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the main character's name is Rebecca, and her nickname is Bex. So, like, whenever Joe was calling Guinevere Beck, all I could really think about was Greg and Rebecca, so I had, like, an interesting time making that, like, connection in my head. I don't know if a lot of other people made that connection, but I thought it was, like, hilarious. How coincidental that was, but, yeah, I actually enjoyed You. I think it was my favorite book of the month. Even though I read a very popular book that I still enjoyed immensely, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed You. And I gave You 5 out of 5 stars. It was really great. Going off of You, the next book I read is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I finished this book. A lot of people are going to be pissed off that I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this book. It was a great book. I am planning on picking up Dixie. I think it's Daisy Dixie Jones. I'm planning on picking up Daisy Jones and the Six as soon as it comes out. Because I'll definitely be reading more of Taylor Jenkins Reid's work now, because I felt like this book was immensely great. Usually I don't like tones of books, I like plots and character-driven storylines, but the tone of this book was great. I loved all the characters. The only main issue I had with this book, which is why I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, was Monique herself. She wasn't a bad person. She wasn't a bad protagonist by any means. I get that this story is mainly focused on Evelyn Hugo and her life story, but they also try to incorporate Monique and her story in this, or what was going on in her life, and I felt like that part was just, like, very boring. I wasn't very interested in Monique's storyline. I liked Monique as a person. I liked how she went for what she wanted. Even though it's more Evelyn trying to persuade her to go for what she wanted. But, yeah. I just wish that we could have had less Monique, or a more fleshed out Monique for the story. Like, I didn't really care how long this book was. I just really wanted to keep on, reading this book. Also, no spoilers for this, but I love the relationship between Evelyn and one of her significant others in this book. I'm not gonna spoil it. I didn't really see it coming, and it was actually pretty great. I like the representation in this book. There is a lot of representation, if you don't know about that in this book. And I think this is why I tire of YA, because there's not really great representation in YA. Like, there are few and far between books of representation in it. Mostly the books that I read, I know there's a lot of representation in other books, and I'm trying to get out of my bubble. I think 2018 was a great year for that. I read a lot of new-to-you authors that I wouldn't have read without BookTube, but I like the representation in this one. So, coming off of the U train, I actually picked up Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kepnes. I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars, and I think the 2 is being generous. I just felt like the tone was completely off in this book. I felt that Joe wasn't Joe in this book. I really hated how he went from Joe in the first book to being this very charming guy who loved people. Well, actually, I wouldn't say he loved people, but I really hated how he went from the Joe we knew in the first book to being this guy who liked being around people, who enjoyed other people's company. I don't even want to get started about him and his love interest. I didn't think his love interest was, like, horrible, but at the same time, she's no Beck. Not that I liked him and Beck together either, because, Joe's a stalker and a murderer and all those other things. It's just the fact that, actually, I didn't really enjoy a lot of his love interest either. Well, if you could call them love interest, I don't really enjoy the people he's obsessed with, I should say. I don't really like Beck. I didn't really like Amy. I didn't really like Love. Yes, her name was Love. That was another issue. And I really didn't like how every single girl wanted to suck Joe's dick in this book. He went from this, really shy guy that not a lot of girls were interested in, And he was like the guy that you friend zone a lot. Honestly, in the first book, and then suddenly he went from the guy that every girl friend zoned to the guy that every girl wanted to suck his dick. And I felt like if Caroline Kepnes had just, wrote this book and it wasn't Joe, it would have been better. This book probably should have followed a new character. I'm planning on reading Providence by Caroline Kepnes too, for those of you who are wondering about that. But, I don't know, I didn't really like Joe in this book. Like, I liked Joe in the first book. Yes, he does awful things. I like Joe as a villain. I would like to state that clearly. I like him as a villain. I don't really like him as a person. I don't really have this crush on him that most girls do. I just really like his sardonic humor. And he's a great villain because he's a realistic one. There are guys like Joe in the world, and that's what I like about this book. So last but not least, on the audiobooks that I listened to this month, I actually just got finished with this book. It was Final Girls by Riley Sager, and I give this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it well enough. The story kept me interested. Not a lot of crime thrillers keep me interested, but this one does. I'm actually going more off YA this month. I didn't pick up a single YA book this month, which I was proud of. But, Final Girls was an enjoyable read. I didn't really, I had a hint of what was gonna happen at the ending. But, sorry, brief brain fart. But I had a hint of what was gonna happen at the ending, but I didn't really call it was gonna go down the way it was, so good job on the surprise ending. But it was a good story. It just wasn't, the best story in the world. So, next up is the books that I read this month. I finished one book this month and made progress in another, which you'll see. First I read To Make Monsters Out of Girls. I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really mesh well with this book. This book is also by Amanda Lovelace. I know she wrote the book of poems called The Princess Saves Herself in this one. I probably honestly should have picked up that book instead. I didn't really like the tone of this book. I didn't really like the poems in it. I just didn't really click well. And apparently my opinion is not unpopular because I read most of the reviews on this one, and a lot of people are tired of her always bringing up a specific type of poetry that she always does. They quote that they feel bad for her husband whenever she writes these books. I guess I will have to read all of her other poem books because she's not a bad poet. She's really not. But I didn't really enjoy this book. I didn't click well with the poems. I feel like when it comes to poets, I really like Rupi Kaur's stuff, but I didn't really like a lot of the poems in here, so I didn't really mesh well with them. So there's that. I also would like to make an honorable mention that I got to page 546 in It by Stephen King. Yes, this book is very slow-moving process. I pick it up when I really don't have a lot of other things that I'm interested in the moment. I actually might pick it up today and see how far I can get to it. today, but for right now, it's on page 546. This is like the length of an entire book for some people, so to think that I got to page 546 in this book is pretty promising, but I'm not even halfway through according to my Goodreads. Yeah. So moving on to the TV shows I binged this month. I only watched 2 TV shows, and of course one being You. I really loved You. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think his name is Penn Bradley. I think who plays Joe. I loved his performance as Joe. I loved the girl who played Beck. I liked Beck more in the series than I did in the book. In the book, Beck got on my nerves a lot. And I feel like in the book, it was just as easy to villainize her as you would villainize Joe. But let me make this clear. Joe is a hell lot worse than Beck is. But Beck, I like how she's not a perfect human being in either the book or the TV show. I feel like she is a lot worse in the book, though. I didn't really see the point of anyone being attracted to her, honestly. Like, even, like, Beck, she had, like, several people attracted to her in the book and in the TV show, and I just didn't get why. But whenever I watch the TV show, I get it. And I think the best moment in You is during the season finale. This is not, like, huge spoilers by any means. She writes a poem in the end of the season, and that is probably one of my favorite poems I've ever listened to. I felt like I connected to that poem so much, and if you haven't listened to this poem, I would listen to it. It's a great poem. And in that moment, I really felt for Beck. Not that I didn't feel for Beck at any other point in the season, but this was the moment where I was all like, wow. That was a great moment. And then the next TV show I ended up binge watching was Alexa and Katie Season 2. Yes, I love Alexa and Katie. No shade in the comments down below, please. I know that it's a kid show. But sometimes kid shows could be powerful and they could be great. And Alexa and Katie is no exception to that rule. I watched Alexa and Katie Season 2. I loved it just as much as I loved the first season. There are a lot of powerful episodes in this TV show. There's a lot of powerful moments. There is a moment where they are picking out Alexa's Sweet 16 dress, and then something happens, and I just really felt that moment. I don't really cry, but I cried, like, at 3 points in this season, though, and that really hurt. There is something that occurs between 2 of the characters in this, and it just broke my heart. I can't really spoil it, but that one broke. But most people who watched Alexa and Katie Season 2, you know what I'm talking about. When something happened between 2 characters. And then, of course, actually, there's like 4 scenes that made me cry. Damn. Alexa and Katie did a good job of making me cry. There was this moment where they went back to whenever Alexa first found out that she had cancer. That part killed me and made me cry. Like, that was a, very powerful episode, too. And it was a Christmas episode, too. And then last but not least, Alexa does something for Katie that made me bawl like a baby because it was just such a great moment of friendship. And if you want your kids to watch something that's more about friendship than relationships, I would definitely suggest Alexa and Katie because these two girls have such a strong friendship. And it really brings the meaning of friendship out, and I just love it so much. 5 out of 5 stars. So, the movies I devoured this month. The first movie was 1 out of 5 stars for me. I hated it a lot. And that's New Year, New You. If you haven't watched the Into the Dark movie series, they're making 12 movies for 12 months. I have not watched any of the other ones. And after this one, I'll be surprised if I watch any of them. Honestly, but New Year, New You was like a piece of shit. I hated it. Oh my god, just so bad. It was boring. It didn't have a good plot point. I was confused about what was going on through a lot of the movie. And it's just like, oh my god, it was so petty. Like, the reason why everybody was doing things was based off really petty shit, and I just hated it. 1 out of 5 stars. If I could give it a 0 out of 5 stars, I probably would. So on that awful movie, I watched probably one of the best movies I watched this month, and that was The Hate U Give. Yes, for everyone out there, I have read the book. I loved the book as well as I loved the movie. The movie was great. I was sad that it didn't get the recognition that it deserved because it is a well put together movie. It had great acting, great performances from a lot of people, honestly. And what was funny was that KJ Apa, who plays Archie on Riverdale, was in this movie. He is Chris in this movie, who is Star's boyfriend. I loved the relationship between Chris and Star in this movie as much as I loved their relationship in the book. In the book, I loved the message of this movie, just like I liked the message in this book. This was an extremely powerful movie. This movie made me cry. It made me laugh, even though it's, like, on a very important subject matter. They still have comic relief moments here and there, like they did in the book. This movie has such a powerful message. I'm recommending all my friends read this book and all my friends watch this movie. I have one friend who saw that I was watching The Hate U Give, and she's all like, oh, I'm gonna watch that, and I told her that it was based off a book, and she didn't know that it was based off a book, so she ordered the book from Barnes & Noble, and she's gonna read it, and I'm excited. Because I just, like, if you have not read The Hate U Give, nor have you watched the movie, I would highly suggest it. It's out to buy or rent right now. Right now, this book and movie deserve all the recognition that they get. And I was very happy by the end result for shooting this movie, not for, like, what happens. Like, I think that was the number one pet peeve I had with the book was, how the case actually ended, but it was a very realistic way that the case went. As sad as that is, because I feel like that's unjust and not really fair, but if you want me to, like, make a book versus movie on it, comment down below, and I will gladly give my thoughts on these two marvelous pieces of work. But until then, onward to the next movie. The next movie I watched was Black Panther. I gave Black Panther a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I didn't really love it as much as everyone else did. I liked the representation in it. in it. I liked the beginning of it. It kind of went lackluster for me towards the end, which is why it was a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I would have given it a 4.5 out of 5 stars if it had not been for, like, the ending. The ending wasn't bad by any means, don't get me wrong. It was just, like, I guess I didn't really connect with it as much as other people connected with Black Panther. Panther, it was okay. I liked it well enough. I feel like people are gonna come at me because I didn't really like it as much as other people did. I guess I'm just not really into superhero movies. I prefer watching shows about villains. I don't know what it is. It's just the way I am. So the next movie I watched, which is actually surprising, was Dark Places. If people don't know what Dark Places is about, Dark Places is a book by Gillian Flynn, and it had, surprisingly, a movie adaptation that stars Charlize Theron. And it's on Netflix, so I watched it. I gave it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe closer to a 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It was just, like, really boring, and the book was just, like, okay, too. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There was nothing really special about it, which is why I'm just, like, meh about it, but it's okay. So, going on to products that I love this month. The first one I have to shout out is Biotin. More importantly, the Spring Valley one. You could get this one at any drugstore. As far as I know, I've seen it at Walmart, I've seen it at Target, I've seen it at Giant, I've seen it at Albertsons. There's a lot of, like, convenience and drugstores you can get this at. CVS. Has all that good fun stuff. So I grabbed a jar of Biotin because I'm actually trying to grow out my hair. I don't know if you could actually see how much it's grown since you've last seen it. This is my 31st day on Biotin. I am doing a thing where I take Biotin for 365 days to see how long my hair could get, and I really love this product because it's the only pill that I've noticed that actually really works for me and my hair. It makes it grow out a lot. Like this month, I know it's not gonna grow out like lame flies. It's gonna be more, it's not lame, and it's not high, it's volume-wise. Like, the thickness of my hair grows out more than the length does. So this month is just gonna be to thicken out my hair. I think it's gonna start growing more in the spring and summertime, like it usually does, because my hair hates winters, as well as my skin. And it's just like, winter is not the season for me. I really don't like winter. I love every other season except winter, I've noticed. It's just like, even snow can't save this month. The next one I got was actually from European Wax Center. European Wax Center chain. I've really loved going to this month. We'll discuss that in a minute. But I got their Renew Me Restoring Serum, and I've used this every day since the eyebrow stylist gave it to me. I put this stuff all over my face because it's a restoring serum. So far I get a lot of wrinkles on my nose. I know a lot of you don't notice the wrinkles on my nose. I have a few laugh lines also. So I like using the restoring serum because I am 25. Gonna turn 26 this year, by the way. In July. But I decided that I'm gonna start taking better care of my skin. Needless to say, I didn't take care of my skin as much in the past 25 years, and it really shows. So I'm gonna start taking better care of my skin, starting with my face. But this is like a lifesaver, and I really enjoy it. The next one I have is just like this little chapstick by Burt's Bees. Of course, you know it's winter, and my skin hates winter, so this has saved my lips tremendously. I don't have cracked lips right now, they're not dry, and Burt's Bees is like a good brand. If you're looking for a chapstick that's great, definitely Burt's Bees. I definitely recommend their chapsticks over any other brand. And then last but not least but for products that I love this month is the Cream and Nourishing Moisturizer by Pond's, I think? Their name is, this stuff has saved my face. It's made it so smooth, and actually my husband loves it when I put this stuff on because he loves the smell of it. And I love the smell of it too. This is just like the travel size, but I feel like I'm gonna pick up the bigger size after I'm done with this bottle. This is actually literally lasted me a month, and that's like saying something because it's so small. See, I still got a lot in there. I don't know if you can see, but man, this stuff smells great. So moving on to music that moved me. I'm gonna more go over artists this month. First starting off with Ariana Grande. I feel like her music has been inspiring to me this month. Month 4 has made me move and jam out the most. I love 7 Rings. I loved God is a Woman this month, and I loved Thank You Next. I feel like she's killing it with her music scene, and I feel like giving her a shout out is the correct thing to do. Because she's turning into one of the music artists that I actually really like. Like, I follow her on Instagram. She's pretty cool. She's also a fellow Cancerian, which is my zodiac sign, for those of you who don't know, so that's pretty cool. The next person I'm shouting out is Ed Sheeran, because I've loved Ed Sheeran for as long as I could remember. Whenever he first came on the scene, to now, he's made great content. And then, last but not least for music that movie is Sam Smith. I really liked his song Dancing with a Stranger this month. But Sam Smith is one of those artists that I don't really talk about that I love so much. So, there's that. And then let's move on to experiences that changed me. Now, I didn't really experience a lot this month, but one very important experience that I've had this month was, European Wax Center, actually. I'm taking a moment, like, this is not sponsored. Like, none of these products are sponsored. I just really like these, products. But, if most of you haven't found out that I'm getting better at taking care of my eyebrows, usually I would have done them once a month, but now I'm, doing them twice a week, and that's mostly thanks to European Wax Center. Now, I used to get my eyebrows done at the place where I got my nails done, and according to my stylist, you don't really want to get your eyebrows done at the same place you get your nails done. Whenever I told her I always do that, she's surprised that my eyebrows weren't that bad. Because she's been hearing horror stories about people who get theirs done at nail salons, and this is actually one reason why I went to European Wax Center in the first place, because what had happened was I went to a nail salon, like I usually do, to get myself waxed. I mentioned that I wanted my lip and my eyebrows waxed. She was very busy, so she took me to the back, even though she knew she was busy, and she proceeded to wax my eyebrows. Now, whenever you're waxing a client's eyebrows, usually afterwards you put something on their eyes to, stop the redness and swelling. She didn't do that for me. She also didn't wax my lip like I asked her to. She just told me I was done, had me pay, and sent me on my way. I didn't really say anything because I'm not one of those people to say anything. I told my husband what had happened, and he was all like, well, that's kind of BS. If you, tell her you want something, she should do what you wanted. Why didn't you say anything to her? And I'm like, well, it just wasn't worth it. So my husband was just like, you know what? We're gonna get your lip waxed somewhere else. Look up where you actually want. Look up waxing centers, and we'll take you to one of those. So, whenever I was looking at waxing centers, my husband noticed European Wax Center. I'm all like, what if it's costly? And my husband's all like, well, it's not like you do this every day, so let's just go there and see how you like it. Like, I went to European Wax Center, and I swear I have never been treated so great in my life when it comes to my waxing. They were very charismatic. The woman who took care of me was very sweet, gave me a lot of tips for my skin, also, which is why I came out with this, because she gave me some tips for my skin, as well as making appointments, and now I have appointments with them every 2 weeks. 2 weeks because they do this thing where they automatically give you your next appointment. When you're there, you can schedule it. It's just like this nice little routine that you could get into if you want to. They have packages that they could give to you. It's just like, it's a very great place, and if you guys have a European Wax Center by you, I highly suggest them. There's a reason why they're 5 out of 5 stars. And that was like my best experience in the month, was finding a waxing place that I actually really enjoyed. So, next up is I have influencers that I cherish. I'm gonna shout out a few YouTubers. I'm gonna shout out a YouTuber first, and that's Carmen King. I love all her series. I love her Sim series. She was playing Until Dawn until recently. I don't know if she'll get back on and playing Until Dawn, but I just love her channel. I find her so funny. So she gets my first shout out. Next shout out is, of course, Ariana Grande. Like I said, I feel like she's really killing the music scene lately, as well as her Instagram, and I'm actually excited for her next album. I'll probably pick it up. Not even gonna lie. The next singer I want to shout out is Demi Lovato. As some of you might not know, Demi Lovato celebrated her 6th month of sobriety this month, so I just wanted to give her a shout out for that. She's also been more active on her Instagram account, and I feel like I am so grateful that she's still here after her overdose in July. And I'm praying for her all the time. As a huge Lovatic, she's always in my prayers. That she's gotten not 1 but 2 tattoos this month, and they're adorable. I just love them. The next influencer I want to shout out is Dylan In Trouble. Usually he does movie commentaries, but of course he's been playing Until Dawn. recently. If most of you don't know, Until Dawn is my favorite video game. I love video games that have butterfly effects. Effect in their narrative, that's like one of my buzzwords when it comes to video games. But I wanted to shout him out. I wanted to shout out Possessed by Horror because I watch all her horror reviews now. I really like her format for review. I'm gonna butcher this next person's name, I'm sorry, but Sierra Shutzy, I think her name is. I love her content. I love her body positivity. I like that she tries new trends. She's like one of my favorite beauty tubers at the moment, and I just love her. I also want to give a quick shout out to BB Rexa this month because there was sorry. There was some drama. I wouldn't even say drama. I think that she handled it very well. Well, there was this thing where someone had refused to dress her for the Grammys, I believe it was, because of her size, and she put them on blast, which I'm glad. You should never tell a client no just because they're not a conventional size. I don't even get that. Size shouldn't matter, honestly. And I was proud of her for sticking up for herself on that one. So she's on influencers this month. So last but not least, it is the goals that I accomplished this month. The first one being working more on my fan fiction. Now, I've been very active on my fan fiction as of this week. Like, the first of the month was very hit or miss. I was doing good first week. And then the past 2 weeks I haven't been doing great, but I got back on the ball for most of my stories. My stories like 2 days ago, and I'm still going strong, so I'm really glad. Glad for that, and I really hope that I manage to finish one of these stories. Fingers crossed. Another thing that I accomplished this month was I didn't cut my hair for this month. Now, I'm trying to grow my hair out. And I want to see how my hair will grow out without cutting it. I know stylist says cut it every 6 weeks, but that only makes my hair worse for whatever reason. I'll probably get it cut at the 6-month mark. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what's better for my hair. Everyone's hair is different, but we'll see. And then another accomplishment I got was taking biotin for a month. Like I said, I'm trying this thing where I take biotin for 365 days to see how much my hair has grown. And I'm doing side-by-sides on my Instagram every single month. So I'm excited for that. The next one I accomplished is try an article of clothing out of your comfort zone. So a lot of you don't know this, but I hate the color yellow. It's just my thing. Ever since I was in 6th grade and someone told me that my outfit looked like piss and shit, I had refused to wear yellow for so many years. Until one time, I wore yellow, and then someone told me yellow wasn't my color. So I stopped wearing yellow again, but now I'm more on board with doing the things for me and not doing things for others. I still do things for others, but it's not as, people's opinions of me aren't as important to me as they once were. I think it's just a part of growing up. Like, I feel like whenever you're a teenager, early 20s, it's just, do people like me? Do they respect me? What could I do to make these people like me? And I feel like you start to lose yourself more and more the more you try to satisfy other people. It's this thing Like, I'm 26 and I'm still trying to learn how to have self-confidence in myself. It's a years-long process that I should have probably started whenever I was a teenager, but I let other people influence how I thought of myself, and that was just not the correct way to go. Yes, people's opinions of you are important, but it's not as important as what you think of yourself. So, I decided to actually buy a shirt that was yellow, and I felt so self-conscious in it all day, but I still wore it all day, because I'm all like, it's just a color. A color shouldn't define who I am. So, I bought this shirt that says, if you love me, let me sleep, and I found it to be really adorable, and I wore it for a whole day to where I'm actually planning on doing a wearing colors that I hate for a week experiment. I might actually do clothes that are out of my comfort zone also, we'll see. But yellow is definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm actually wearing more yellow nowadays, but I wear more mustard yellow than bright yellow. So I wore this, and I didn't hate it. It just made me feel uncomfortable, which is weird because how does a color have such power over you? To where you just hate yourself in it, but I guess that's a part of trying to get out of your comfort zone, and I feel like I wouldn't have had a lot of clothes in my wardrobe that I did if I didn't get out of my comfort zone and start experimenting with the color yellow. And, yeah, I feel like that was a good accomplishment for this month. And then last but not least, last thing I'm gonna talk about is my last goal, and that's read more adult books. I have not touched a single YA book this month, and I'm so proud of myself, because usually all I do is read YA, but as of lately, I'm getting really tired of YA. I don't know what it is, probably my age, honestly, but I'm getting really old of the same old tropes, the same old stories. I just want something different. As some of you may not know, I really loved fantasy growing up, but now I really like books based off reality. Or, well, very, contemporary books. Like, usually I wasn't a huge fan of contemporary whenever I was younger, but now they're all I tend to read because they're all I want to read. It's getting very hard for me to read fantasy books. I don't really want to read fantasy anymore, and that's just my preference, and it's okay. Okay, we all don't have to like the same thing, but, this, like, more adult books thing is gonna be, broken next month, because I'm reading On the Come Up by Angie Thompson, who is the writer of The Hate U Give. I loved The Hate U Give so much that I'm definitely planning on reading On the Come Up. It's actually set in the same universe as The Hate U Give. We're going back to Garden Heights, and we're gonna follow a new character. I think her name is Bree. And this story doesn't really seem like it's, like, super up my alley. But after The Hate U Give, I've realized that even if a book doesn't seem up your alley, you should at least give it a shot, because it could surprise you, and getting out of your comfort zone is great. Like, I can't tell you how many experiences I've enjoyed, because I decided enough was enough, and I had to get out of this comfort zone that I had made for myself, out of this bubble. If I didn't gone out of this bubble, I would have never tried Purple Hair, which I ended up loving. I would have never went to the Demi Lovato concert, which was one of the best experiences of my life. I would have never, moved to a new state, even though I'm still coming to terms with it. it's still a good experience because it makes me feel more free. It makes me feel like I'm not somebody's something. I'm just me, and that's a great feeling to have. But I feel like now that I'm doing more things for me, I'm a little bit happier than I've been in the past few years, and I can't wait to see what experiences hold for me next month. Like, this month is just like, not this month, this year is just like the month of self-discovery and growth as a person, and I can't wait to see what person I turn out to be in 2019. But without further ado, guys, that is all that I have for you today. I am sorry for the long video. I know you guys don't really like my long videos, and I apologize for that. I tend to ramble a lot, but, that's all I have, so I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have an idea for a video that you want me to do, comment it down below, because I always love suggestions, and I will see you guys later.